All right, today in Garage Hall, we are working on, it's Christmas, so Merry Christmas, everybody. Okay, so we are working on a 2010 Cadillac SRX and replaced the power steering pump. I gotta tell you, it was one of the more difficult repairs I've done on a vehicle, mainly because there's like no room in here to get to it. Okay, so I couldn't film a repair. So, kind of like, I guess, spoiler alert on that. But I can tell you what I did to kind of make things a lot easier. Okay, so that is your power steering pump. And this is on the V6, what do I call it? The VVT engine. I got the cover over here. Yeah, so it's your V6 VVT direct injection, a Cadillac engine. And the old pump I have here, I basically kind of like dissected it to see what was wrong. But it was mainly leaking from the main seal. So that's why that happened. But as you can tell, I have this sway bar link detached on this. So basically to get it out, you're actually going to have the sway bar in the up position. And then you got to kind of like wiggle it around and move it down, and then put it into the bottom position and be able to pull it completely the rest of the way out. There are two bolts, 13 millimeters, at the top and the bottom. So you have to align this wheel, and you got to get through the bottom bolt, and then there's the top one. That one is really difficult to put back in. You have to make sure that you're pushing the bottom of the pump up so it levels off, and you got to kind of like feel around because there's no way to really get in there and take a look at what you're doing exactly. And the bottom one, I would probably tighten that, not all the way down, loose enough that the pump, you can move in and position it. But then when you're pushing up on this, you want to make sure that you get that bolt in on top. The way I did it is I was kind of getting behind it, and I was doing the old finger gymnastics move with your fingers. I know it's kind of weird, but you'll know what I'm saying. And that's the way I got it mounted back in. Obviously, you have to pull the belt off. The belt tensioner is back there. Not too bad of a one to get, because when you put your tensioner lever arm on there, you pull it basically towards the front of the car, and that loosens it up. And like I said, I had to disconnect the sway bar on both sides to get the whole bar to drop down to be able to move it back and forth. And then this, to tighten off the bottom, make sure that you grease that line up pretty good and grease the threads on that. So when you push that up, it tightens it down, it goes in. I end up having to use something like this to actually get in there with that nut. That's a crow's foot 5/8, I believe is what I used. Yeah, 5/8 with a little bit of a swivel and 2 extension bars, or if you had a really long extension bar, that's what you need, so you can kind of basically get up through here, through the bottom, and then up on that to be able to get on that nut to tighten it all the way down. Make sure it's pretty tight so you don't get any leaks on there. And then that was basically about it. Getting a pulley off, you definitely, let me see if I got this kit over here. Yeah, I got a mess over here. But this was the pulley remover and install set. I'll put the links to a guy that made it really easy to do. I tried filming it. It was definitely not my forte, so that was kind of a little bit of a horror show, actually. But I hope these little tips and tricks help you. I also used a bungee cord to kind of help keep the sway bar up and down and out of the way. But anyhow, definitely not for the faint of heart. This was a difficult job to do. Got it done. I think overall it took me 6 hours, which is kind of like embarrassing, but it was tough getting to those nuts up there, lining that up the right way. And I know a couple of you probably spotted this hole. I thought I was going to be able to sneak in there straight across to the pulley, but that did not work either. It was basically a bad angle. Some vehicles, they actually kind of put like these little cheat holes in there for their dealers to kind of sneak in there, but you can tell it is vicariously in the wrong position. Unless you took the strut out, then maybe you might have a decent angle at it, but then you're getting crazy taking everything apart. But anyhow, I think that's about it. Feel free to ask me some questions and concerns, but it was a very difficult repair to do. Just kind of like a heads up on it. But anyway, Brian from Garage Mahal, I hope that helps steer you guys in the right direction, especially if you're trying to figure out how to maneuver around the sway bar link. Definitely remove that. Anyway, be safe. Thanks for watching and subscribing.